Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm here again to talk about the menace of drug use, drug abuse, and addiction. My name is Sam Obafemi, and I hope that you can watch this video with me today and share this video. I was having a conversation with a group of partners recently, and we were appraising the realities of drug use, abuse, and addiction. I'd like you to take note of the sequence: drug use, abuse, and addiction. I can tell you categorically that more than half of the people, more than half of the young people who are entangled in drug use, abuse, and addiction do not see a problem with taking drugs. A client had called me and we had a private session, and he said his son takes drugs, takes tramadol intensely just to be active enough to read. He has a certification, an ACCA preparatory class, and because he thought he needed to be active and focused, he needed to enhance tramadol usage. And he argued with his dad that he doesn't see anything wrong in what he's doing, that he needed to use it as a stimulant. It takes me back our university days when we used to be very active in taking coffee. We used to believe that coffee was primarily necessary for us to stay awake and to study. Thank you, Modupe Hirim. We thought that if we took coffee to keep us awake, we would focus better, we would be more alert. We thought it would help us read better. Let's be very objective. Did it really influence our understanding? In retrospect, okay, now we're out of school, we still study. I do professional courses every year. I undertake learning, I attend trainings. I don't take any of these things. It doesn't affect my capacity to assimilate. So I'm trying to ask, practically speaking, did the coffee we used to ingest, did it actually influence our learning? I don't know about you. I need answers. You can answer me. So our young people believe that they need these drugs, tramadol, codeine, and epinephrine, and all those other stuff they take, cannabis, marijuana, alcohol, but cigarette, just simple cigarette, we call it simple, an excessive mixture of all this stuff. They think they need it to stay at a level of creativity. We're in a creative age, and there is a perception that I need to be able to put myself in a state where I can be creative. So there's already a narrative that says, if I can get high, I can churn out crazy stuff. But you see, in mind science, we agree you need to be in a state to create results. But the state is not limited to drugs. It's a function of neuroscience. Neuroscience says you can create a success state or a failure state. Your mind can create anything without a physical material influencing you to create. There's no state you cannot create with your mind. And you do not need to have a physical ingesting substance to influence that state of mind. It's not necessary. So I was having a session just a few days ago, and the young lad kept arguing that I don't know why you guys are making a fuss out of this drug thing. It's normal. It's normal. I'm in control. I'm in charge. And I asked him, I said, the very first time you had it, when was it? He said, the first time he ingested this was just 2 years ago. And I asked him, what quantity did you take? And he tried to explain. And I asked him, is it the same quantity you take now? And does it give you the same result? You know what we call tolerance? Your brain tolerates more and more. You have to You reduce tolerance, so you want to take more substance to attain the same level of ecstasy and excitement. So I am quite concerned that our young people do not see any problem. And like we say in neuroscience, you cannot help the unwilling. You cannot change someone who does not see a problem with what they are dealing with. I feel a bit moody about this, and you can understand why I'm very passionate about this subject, which is what informed our conference theme for 2018. We need to become very pragmatic and creative about drug use, abuse, and addiction. It has gone beyond stop taking drugs. It has gone beyond say no to drugs. It has gone beyond drugs will kill you. It has gone beyond stay away from drugs. They think we are fighting them. They think we are opposing their happiness. They think we are trying to frustrate their creativity. They think we are trying to stifle their creative perspectives and dimensions. So we who are in creative work, we must begin to demonstrate that we didn't have to get high the way they got high to produce the same results. So this is a challenge for all of us. Let's create the results that confirms you didn't have to use substance to get it. Many of us are not getting our results. And I'd like you to focus on your work, focus on your creative competencies, and get your results. This conference is a platform where SOPCA is going to begin to work with communities and individuals at another level. We want to drive the crusade and join other forces to see to the death and elimination by the grace of God of drug abuse and addiction. There are legitimate places and contexts where drugs are necessary to be used. And the truth be told, we have to educate and continue to prove that legitimate use of drugs is acceptable, but once it has been used in the wrong context, wrong timing, and wrong perspectives, it will lead to abuse and addiction. And unfortunately, what you get used to, you become hooked onto, both for good and for bad. So I want you to please don't take this campaign lightly. We all are affected. I would always say this. I have 2 daughters. They may never get involved in drugs, God willing, but I do not have control over whom will be their classmates in the university or in the secondary school. I do not have control over whom will be their best friend when they become employees or business owners. I do not have control over whom will be their next door neighbor or their pally and their business associates in future. I do not have control over how many countries they will travel to and whom they will meet at the airport or meet at some networking meeting. I don't have control over that. So if I say, since my daughters are not taking drugs and they may never take drugs, it is not my business what happens to other people, I would be wrong. So this campaign is not about whether you will take drugs or whether your children or your siblings will take drugs. No, this is a concern that you do not have control over the outcomes of the future, and you must play your role to help everyone that you see to master how to not get abusive and addicted to drugs. This is a completely whole responsibility we must take on. I encourage you, join in this campaign. It is not a campaign for ego. It's not a campaign for popularity. It's not a campaign for self-aggrandizement. It's not a campaign to prove any point. No, we are not proving any point by doing this. We are not trying to convince or impress anyone by pushing against, drug abuse and addiction. No, we're simply protecting the future of the people in our own lives. And so I truly, truly encourage you and charge you that you need to please join in this campaign. There is an adage that says, it takes a whole village to train a child. Can we create that village all over again where we can talk the truth to each other in love and get our own people to join in this fight? So if this conversation has made any sense to you, I appeal to you to do 3 things for me. Number 1, please go on to bcpconference.org and register to be at our conference in May, on May 25th. It is free to attend, absolutely free to be in the conference, May 25th. So go on to bcpconference.org. I will write that in the comment section so you can click on it and register. Absolutely free to attend. That's number 1. Number 2, please follow our social media handles. On Facebook is BCPConf 2018. On Instagram is BCPConf. That's BCPCONF 2018. Thank you, Rema. God bless you. And on Twitter is BCPConf 2018. The same handle all through at BCPConf 2018. Share our flyers, share our posters, tell people about this conference coming up. We need more people on hand. In fact, we need volunteers. If you're a graphics designer, we need you right away to help us churn out more creative content. If you are a social media enthusiast, please join our volunteer team. We need all the word to go out and more people sign up to support this conference. It is absolutely free conference, so it costs you nothing to support us. It just costs you a few minutes of your time per day, and we would really be grateful for that. Thirdly, we need funds to completely undertake the budget for this conference. So it would be very helpful if you can send us funds, or you can tell us where to go and raise funds. If you know companies that you know can cooperate with us, we're willing. If you have leads to organizations that can give us money, we're open. We've been writing several, we're still writing several, and we're getting good feedback. And we also are grateful for those who have given us individual personal funds. We will write the account details in the comment section. You may please send us any token. No amount is too small at all. Modupe Ehirim Oladosubumi. Yes, we are streaming live for global audience, not for Lagos residents. The conference holds in Abuja, and we're streaming live anywhere in the world. We're going to be streaming live on Instagram, streaming live on Facebook, and streaming live on YouTube. So anywhere, any channel you prefer. We have Channels TV coming on. We have NTA coming on. We have AIT coming on. So even traditional TV will, at least one of those 3 will stream live by the grace of God. And so it's a free conference. We want as many people to join in. Our speakers, we're privileged to host Dr. Tony Rapo. If you've been following his work called My Lagos Diaries, you will see that he's done immense work on the issue of drug use, abuse, and addiction. He's gone extensively in rehabilitating people in drug use, abuse, and addiction. So Dr. Tony Rapo is our main speaker. He's the founder of Freedom Foundation, a rehab in Lagos, and he's the curator of My Lagos Diaries, a documentary on AIT and Silverbird that talks about drug use, abuse, and addiction. You can also find that on YouTube, a lot of documentaries on YouTube, My Lagos Diaries. We're also hosting the DG of NDLEA, who will be giving us a keynote speech. We're hoping to have the Federal Minister of Health, who will be giving us a keynote speech. We're hoping to have Steve Harris, who will be talking to practitioners in the field on how to be profitable and seizing the opportunities in this dilemma and crisis that we found ourselves as a nation. And we're hoping to have, we have a few panelists. We have 2 survivors from drugs, Oscar Ogedengbe and Tega Omogo. These 2 people were drug addicts and whom, by the grace of God, have been rehabilitated, and they're coming on our panel to share their story. There are so many people who have asked us to host them to share their story, but because of time factor, we can't take as many survivors that want to. But we're also privileged to have Dr. Dirisu Osasuyi and Dr. Kule Kakamfo, who are themselves drug addiction experts and rehab experts, and they'll come on the panel to discuss modalities and methods to work with your children, your friends' children, your school children, your neighbor, and everyone in our lives that we know are involved in drugs. The entire panel will be moderated by the indefatigable Ebuka Anichebe, very profound guy. And we are hosting Majek Fashek, who himself is still contending with drug-related crisis, and we would have him come share his fights, his struggles with this challenge, and of course he's going to render some songs on the 25th of May at the conference. The conference will also raise funds for rehab for Majek Fashek and other people whom we have created a short list of people we want to intervene in their rehab. Many rehabs need funding. Many rehabs need funding. The cost of rehabilitating an addict is very high. An addict will have to be examined. They have to be detoxified. They have to undergo therapy. They have to be followed up because of the high rate of relapse. Relapse happen even 1 year after, 2 years after, 3 years after, you can relapse. So there is high tendency that people who have gone through this can relapse. Thank you, Abasiono. So there is high tendency that people who have gone through drugs can relapse. And so we want to bring to our awareness the need to raise monies for rehabs. SOPCA does not own a rehab. We call us crusaders. We are social activists in this subject matter. We have trained in mental health first aid. We are building capacity in drugs, rehab issues. We have behavioral science tools, but we don't interfere, and we're not competing with those who are medically trained to undertake detoxification and rehabilitation. We collaborate. So SOPCA has relationships with several rehabs, and we channel our resources accordingly to different rehabs depending on the case that arises. So we encourage you to become aware, educate yourself, read more, know more about these drug issues, because it's ravaging our youth and it's killing us seriously. So don't forget, go to bcpconference.org and please register. Please follow our social media handles and please share our work. If you're a graphic artist, we need you. If you're very active on social media, we need you. And most importantly, please remember to support this conference. Just to wrap up, I'd like you to know your child and family may be primarily or temporarily immune from drugs, drug use, abuse, and addiction, but you may not be secondarily immune. The long-term implication of feigning ignorance, being snobbish, or not playing a role now may be beyond you. It's not a threat, but we all have a role to play. The more we can get involved in this crisis, the more God can answer our prayers. It's not enough to pray that our young people stop doing drugs. It is actually important to get in the field. And getting in the field may just be supporting any information like this. Share more, do more, ask for help, give help, refer people to us. We would help them. The least you can do is to read about drug involvement. Set your reminders every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Go on AIT, watch My Lagos Diaries by Dr. Tony Rapo. It gives you more information about drug-related crisis. People are suffering. Wealthy people are suffering. Poor people are suffering. Drugs knows no status, knows no age, knows no caliber, knows no complexion, knows no ethnicity, knows no religion. It will ravage you. You get hooked on it, and you keep taking it. You think you're fine, and someday you realize you cannot let go, and all you have and own you will sell just to get a dose and a shot at it. It is not funny at all. So I call on all of us. This is a charge. Don't take this information with levity. Please join in this fight. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this video. Let someone on your timeline see this information, and we all would have done great justice to our nation and to our families and to our world in our own lifetime. Thank you so much. Peace out.